which Resident Evil would you recommend to a newcomer to the series, and why?
Okay. I'm gonna have two of them. One I want to suggest. Well, you're not really a newcomer to the series, but there is one I want to suggest for you. But for
Okay.
anyone else that hasn't played it at all, like one single game, um, for the original four, which is my favorite game of all time,
Wow.
Resident Evil 4. This one here, it's available on everything, so it's not hard to find this. I think I played it on everything it's been released on. And just the pacing of that game is what makes it so good. It's just like the new one. Um, the pacing is like perfect pacing. Like I've never played a game where I can like every single moment of that game is engaging and fun. And I don't think there's a slow point in that whole game. Like every time you get to a new room, like oh this room, oh I love this room. You get through that room, you get to the oh this place is fun. Like Resident Evil 4. The pacing, like really simple little story. Like I know people knock on the story, but I like it. It's simple. It's just like you go to the village to rescue the president's daughter. And sometimes you catch her and you find her and she tags along with you and that kind of makes it scary too because before you're just the guy and he's kind of badass, so you didn't really feel scared for him. But then he has this young woman that doesn't know how to fight with him, and you're trying to protect her, so that makes it makes it scary. And then you lose her, and you have to go find her again. So it's always throwing something different at you. Um, yeah, a lot of like there aren't there. I don't say there's the most amount of variety of villains, but the scenarios they put the villains in where they're always a little bit different in every room. So it's and it almost kind of feels like a beat 'em up too. The way you come at them, like the little karate kick in here is kind of something out of a beat 'em up because like it's kind of like crowd control. Like you want to get all the guys on one side of you, shoot one and karate kick them, and like you can bunch them all together. I just love the gameplay, the pacing of this, the graphics. Let me tell you, GameCube when this first came out, it looked like generational leap when this was on GameCube. I don't think there are many games on that generation that look as good as this. Like you can for many like a couple generations, they still just kept releasing this thing and it still looked good up until now. Like it's kind of dated, but like PlayStation 2, they released it. PlayStation 4, they re-released it. Like it always holds up. And I think it's that point of gaming where it still feels like a video game, like Super Mario Brothers, where like you're pressing a button to run and then a button to jump, and there's like the quick time. Like it still feels like a video game, but at this point is when like the environments look real. Like it looks like a real place, but it still felt like a video game. So Resident Evil 4 is my recommendation for everyone else. What about you?
Oh, what is my recommendation to a newcomer to the series?
Uh,
I will go with the 4 remake. Now, I think that
yeah,
2 and 3 remake have elements that are better for the horror genre, but if the point is
yeah,
to just kind of get you interested and engaged, I think that does it in like a fun modern
yeah,
cinematic way that is kind of
yeah.
easy to pick up and get into. I've spent time even just
Mhm.
in the shooting gallery, like just
Yes,
firing at the targets, like, and I had a good time with
yeah,
that.
mhm,
Uh,
yeah,
I think that when you're ready, you should try 2 remake and 3 remake as a
yeah,
newcomer, because
yeah,
those are probably more representative of like the potential for the series. But I think that the 4
yeah.
remake is has really good bosses.
Mhm.
It translates the 4 experience really well, and I do think that the original version of 4 maybe is a uh, bit dated for the modern gamer to
Yeah,
experience.
it has that tanker. Yeah, everything I said about the original, it can be said about the remake too. Like, but then it has the modern control everyone could get behind.
Mm-hmm. The only thing that I think some things are missing, I think honestly, I kind of like the QTEs, like the running from the
Yeah,
boulder,
I do. Yeah,
so I
Yeah,
mean, that's fun to me. It's mainly from a
yeah,
visual standpoint. I think it might be harder to look
yes.
at. But in its defense, I haven't played the PlayStation 4 re-release or the Xbox re-release, so
Okay.
it may
Oh,
look better
they're
than
just
I'm
like the
giving it credit
GameCube.
for.
Oh no, they're just like the GameCube one.
Okay,
And then I think the
interesting.
other thing, the new one, I think they tightened up this writing and the story because some of the stuff on the old one doesn't make sense. Like as much as I love it, I don't care if it doesn't make sense. But I think they tightened up like the storytelling and all that on the remake. Because I think you could probably pick apart like the old game, just stuff would happen for no reason. It was like it was corny and I love it, but the remake, I think they tightened up like the writing and the progression of the story and all that.
Hmm. Did they have mercenaries mode in 4 on
Yeah,
the original one?
yeah,
I feel like
yeah.
that version's was better.
The old one
I think
or the
so.
new one?
The old one.
Yeah,
I think it had more, like more content.
yeah. It had more characters and I think it had more maps. I know maybe it does now. I know they've added stuff, so it might have as much now. But yeah, they
Okay.
had all those guys like I don't know. I think you can be Ada now, but it had Ada and you could be Wesker and Hunk. They might be on the new one. The old one didn't have Luis on the mercenaries.
Mm. The new one I know is Leon Lewis. Who, the guy with the big arm, is that Wesker or is that Krauser?
Yeah. Krauser. Yeah,
They have
Krauser.
him and they have Hunk, but and
Yeah.
anybody after that, I don't know if they got added.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because the old one they had Ada and Hunk, the guy. I think he might be in the ring. I'm not sure. I haven't played the mercenaries in a while,
Mm. Okay.
which is fun too. That's like another game inside the game, the mercenaries mode.
Yeah, Mercenaries is great. I did
Yeah.
this to make me think of a question. So, Resident Evil 4, the original, is your favorite game of all time. I wasn't
Yeah,
aware of that.
but man, when I was questioning that when I was playing the remake, like this might be as high or more, but I still think I prefer the original.
What gives the original the edge over the
I
remake?
might just be nostalgia or how many times I played it.
Okay. There are not elements that you
Yeah.
think are better
In the original one,
for you, not necessarily like objectively.
yeah. I don't know. I do. I don't know. As silly as this sounds, I like the tank controls in the over the shoulder style. Like I played it so much, it feels so smooth. Like that's the game, the way the game should be. Everybody's like, you press the button to run, you stop, you hit the button, you aim. Like it just feels so smooth. I love that, and you can do it all with one stick. You don't need two analog sticks. What else is in there? They have you can shoot through doors in the old one. You can't do that in the new one. That's something I like. Like if guys are coming at the door, you can shoot holes through the doors and hit them on the other side of the door. What else? Um, there's the incendiary grenades in the original, which they don't have that in the new. They have so much other new stuff that doesn't really matter. What else? I kind of do like the cheese factor, like the old one. Like it's the kind of the corny, like the cheesy acting and all that. What else? Yeah, a couple segments are. It's not the same game at all. Like I think we talked about that before. It's the same. It's based on the same thing, but every segment's different. It's not like the same game. And when I played the new one, like, oh, this is a totally different game. So the new game has different areas that the old game does, and the old game has different areas that the new game does. So I kind of like some of those areas that were not in the remake.
Oh wow. Okay, interesting. Well,
Mm,
I think I understand though. Like, it is a
uh,
different experience, and the original is kind of
yeah,
classic. You know, like the
yeah.
remake is still really good. It's just it probably needs
Oh
time
yeah, yeah,
to, think about like, are these moments as iconic? Of the ones that were
yeah.
changed. I don't
I know.
necessarily
Yeah,
love
I
like
made you.
the Salazar fight more, or like
Oh
the
yeah,
end fight segment, like where we fighting a bunch of
yeah.
tentacles. Like I don't know. I think I
Yeah.
remember being more
Yeah.
epic in the first one.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. The Salazar boss fight, I kind of do like that more. And the music in the new one, that music when you're fighting Salazar in the new one, like, well, it's so epic.
yeah. All right, cool. Well,
And
that
then,
concludes our generational perspectives on Resident Evil. Hopefully,
uh,
that was enlightening
uh,
for the viewers.
hopefully,
Awesome. All right, cool. So
yeah, that
that
was
concludes
fun.
the segment. But no, I think that was a good talk.
Oh, excellent. Yeah, yeah, that was fun. The one game I wanted to recommend to you, even though you're not new to the series, but I don't think you've played this game from what I've heard you say, and I haven't really heard you mention it. Maybe you have played it, but have you played the original two?
No, never.
Okay, that's the one I would recommend because like this, I think this was like the highest praised ones from like the general fan perspective. Like this was the best one because it kind of just improves on one. I like to think of one as Terminator, the Terminator. Um, this one's like the Terminator, and this one's like Terminator 2.
Wow,
Like
Terminator 2
I
is
always
crazy.
prefer the original. As good as Terminator 2 is, like that's probably like a perfect action movie. I still prefer the first one. Same with this
Mm.
one. Like I prefer this one, but this is like Terminator 2. This is everything this is, but probably improved on every way.
Does
And
it
when you
have
play
Mr.
through this
X
game,
in the
yeah, Mr.
original?
X is his debut is in this, and
Okay.
it has I have it upside down. It has two campaigns. Well, this one has two campaigns. You could be Chris or Jill. This one, Leon and Claire, but it has two separate campaigns for each of them. Like there's two different little scenarios for each character,
Mm-hmm.
and it has where was I going with this? Yeah, but anyway, it has two separate campaigns, so you have to like play through both of them to get the full ending. And I think as much I know as outdated as the camera angles are and the controls are, this has a really good vibe to this game. It feels every time I play this, it feels like I just watched like a James Cameron movie. Like they really nailed the vibe of this game. I really recommend playing this one, especially if you know the remake. You'll probably get through this a little easier because you'll know how the game's laid out. I think the cop station is laid out similar.
Okay.
I just feel like this was like a super improvement to the first one, like in every way, but it still uh, felt like this one, but just improve it in every way it could.
Cool. Yeah, I'll try that then.
Yeah, Mr. X comes in here. That's the first time like the big guy would be stalking you around the map. Like it was really cool, scary back then.
Yeah, and you don't have those modern amenities like, quick dodge or something. So that's tough.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Cool. I'll keep that in mind. Maybe,
Mm-hmm.
things to play.
And it is available on. I don't know if you had. It's on 64. That would be my. That's my preferred way to play it is on 64.
That's what I was going to ask is 64 versus PS1.
I would say 64. I know this one has like the resolution on the cutscenes are better because it can store more on the disc, so the cutscenes look like crisp. They're kind of like low resolution on the 64. But what I appreciate about the 64 one is it was condensed down. This is like like three-quarters of a gig or something, or of a to make this game. It's on two discs. They condensed it down into like 64 megabits or megabytes to put it on the N64. So it's like a tenth the size of this, but everything's retained. Like they really went into the programming and took out excess stuff and reused assets. But you can't tell within the game. Like it looks exactly like this. Everything's in it.
Mm.
But the way they went in there with the programming and maximized like everything to its full efficiency or to put it on that cartridge because they couldn't put much memory on
Oh, that's
those little
awesome, man.
cartridges back then.
Well, I'm a 64 fan, so
Oh yeah, yeah.
it's
I think that's my favorite 64 game actually.
interesting. Cool. I'll keep that in mind.